They both have old Germanic roots. Wisdom comes from wissen, which means I know what I saw. You go through another stuff and you know what you saw, you draw wisdom from that because you know what you saw. Grandma has wisdom because she knows what she saw. And vision comes from the German word vision, which means I know what I see. I know what I see. I'm going to teach you another word next week that will blow your mind. I want to go into it so badly now, but I got to hold back. So wisdom is knowing what we saw. Vision is knowing what we see. And that's why where there is no vision, the people perish. But with vision, people look ahead with confidence. Say confidence. Confideo, it means to go with faith. To go with faith, it doesn't mean to go with arrogance and cockiness, to say I got this, I'm the man, I know this. I'm ready, come on, bring it on. No. It's not going in self-sufficiency. It is going in a humility that God is going to do it. God who's working in you. He's Christ in you, the hope of glory. Christ in you, the hope of glory. He's working in you. He's Emmanuel, God on the inside, revealing himself on the outside. He's doing something in you. And when we become more conscious of God within us, it'll change the way that we act. It'll change the way that you speak. It'll change your encouragement to others because you'll realize that God wants to use your mouth as a prophetic inspiration to others. 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 3 says that he that prophesieth speaketh unto men unto edification, exhortation, and comfort. It means that God is using you to encourage people. He will use you to be able to lift people, to life people. Wouldn't it be a great testimony to say that when people are around you, they begin to feel better because you have spoken something to them that made them come alive on the inside? You have to speak to the destiny that's in them already. Destiny is not something that you go out and create on your own. Destiny is something that you discover that God has already planted in you. He's already planted it in you in an incredible way. And if you'll ever just let God be God in your life, if you'll ever let God be God in your life, he will give you an incredible revelation of who he is. He'll give you an incredible revelation. May I just tell you that the word humility, it comes from Latin roots, that the word humus. Humus is not any kind of dirt. It's that dark, rich soil that is very fertile, that creates an atmosphere for growth and development. Humus, humility, down to earth, humble, humility, humus of the earth. It's not just regular dirt, it's the dark, fertile soil that you can plant stuff in and it will germinate and grow. Humility, a sign of humility is that the person is teachable and coachable because they don't act like they know it all. So it means that they are teachable. It means that they are coachable. And here's the thing that I love to tell you. Can I teach you a little etymology for a moment? The word humility, meaning humus of the earth, it is also connected to, guess what other word? The word success. Now, I want you to be able to tell your friends that the bishop taught you some dirty words today. He was talking about humus. Dirty words. Of the earth, humility, down to earth, teachable, coachable. Humus of the earth. Success, the Latin word is succeder. It means to spring up through, to spring up through. And succeder, the middle of it, the root of it is C-E-D-E, sede, which means seed. A seed is planted into the humus. And as you take the seed, greatness is as a seed. God does not give you the finished product. He gives seed to the sower and bread to the eater. Seed to the sower. If you don't sow any seed, you won't have any wheat to make your bread. God's not going to give you a loaf of bread. He will give you seed. The seeds of your success must be planted into the humus. Are you listening? It is into the soil. And if you will grow up into him, into all things, that there is something about it that real success is always connected to humility. You know that if it's arrogant, that it had nothing to do with God's success. God's success deals with a seed that is in a person, that a person nurtured, and they planted it into the humus. And out of that humility, in that atmosphere of growth and development, where the seed, the sede of the success, it began to germinate and to grow, and success springs up. Suceder, it means to spring forth through. When you come up through it, it means that when somebody has put dirt on your name, and God still has a gift in you, that even despite the nastiness and the dirtiness of what people have said about you, that God will somehow allow you, that when there's a real seed, that even though coming through dirt and coming through poverty and coming through this humus stuff here, that God is still able to make you to stand and to grow like a wild weed and to become productive and a fruitful bow in your own generation and time, to the glory of God. He's able to take it and to make it. I mean, God's greatest glory comes out of the dirt. Out of the dirt. Humus, suceder. Your humility is connected with your success. In other words, God is saying that when I bless you, don't get the big head. He's saying you just stay connected to the earth. Stay down to earth. Humus. Humus, humility. It doesn't mean that you're passive and that you lack aggression. It means that you're teachable. It means that you're coachable. It means that you stay open to God, to say, if God says that's enough of that, that you'll pull back from it and not argue with him. It's if God has blessed you with something in your hand, and if God says let it go, that you won't argue with him, because out of your humus, the very seed that made you something, God will say, now sow it. Now sow it. Now give it here. Now do that with it. And it is out of your humility to handle the sede, the seed, right, that God, all of your success flows out of that. I just gave yet to you some extra today. I hope you got something. But may I just give you a quote here from William Booth. He said, you cannot improve the future without disturbing the present. I hope I've got some folks today who are ready to disturb their present. If you want something better in your tomorrow, you better get ready to disturb your present. It's better to work now so you can play later. Because if you will pay the price now, you can play later. But if you play now, you're going to pay a whole lot more later. So you may as well get it while it's on sale. And you always show what you're waiting on by showing what you're working on. Always, always. And here's something I want you to think about. That if you don't like something that's happening in your life, and if you have the power to change it but don't, who do you think is to blame? No pointing any fingers. But you'll be surprised. Listen, if you're going to affect your future, there's something that you can do right now to change your future. I'm going to show you something here about a diagram of the flow of life here, how life flows. Take a look at this. Are you happy? If the answer is yes, then here, notice the suggestion here, keep doing whatever you're doing. Keep doing whatever you're doing. Now, and then are you happy? No. Do you want to be happy? If the answer is no, then you keep on doing whatever you're doing. But notice, are you happy? And if you say no, and then do you want to be happy? If you say yes, then notice, change something. Change something. Change something. That's why you have to be willing to disturb your present. If I want success tomorrow, I've got to disturb the soil of my presence by breaking it up and sowing a seed in it. I got to break up my fallow ground. I've got to fertilize. I've got to sow the seed. I've got to water. I've got to weed it. I've got to work something. I show you what I'm waiting on by showing you what I'm working on. How am I going to be working on a harvest and I have not tilled a field? And I've not sown any seed, and I'm not going out there to pull up some weeds. I'm showing you, if I'm waiting on my harvest, I'm down in the dirt, pulling some stuff out that's trying to choke out the life of the seed. Are you listening? And there's some things that you ought to be constantly pulling up, because as fast as you have sown the seed, somebody going to say, they ain't going to do nothing. I done seen them before. They said they're going to do something, and they didn't come to nothing. And, you know, I knew his daddy, and he had some issues himself, honey. But and you have to constantly go out there and pull those seeds up. You got to even pull up the seeds of self-doubt that starts wondering, can I do this? Is it going to work? And what if it doesn't work? And you know, and you tell them, and you know, last time you tried to do something, and you're sowing them yourself. Write the word name down. And I want to spell it for you. Enemy. Listen, enemy. Sometimes we are our own worst enemy. Your name can show you what is in me. What's on the inside of me. Where the real enemy is. And if you look at name, and right in the center of name is am. It shows you who I am. God said, I am that I am. If you look on the inside, you'll find me. He said, I'll come and take up residency in you. I'll come and abide with you, and I will be in you. I'll be in you. I'll be in you. Stop running out and trying to find peace in the world. You can't find it in your own heart. This thing starts in your own heart. It starts. Love is it. Stop waiting on somebody else to affirm you with love. Love starts here. You got to love yourself. You wrap your arm. Wrap your arm around yourself. You fall in love with you, then somebody else will find you lovely. But if you got an issue where if you can't love you, you send the message to others that I don't like me and I don't want you to like me either. And then you find that you constantly repudiate people from your life because you don't even have the love. Now listen, if you don't have any confidence in you, why would anybody else? You insult God's gifting into your life when you don't have any confidence. When he says, you go, Moses, and I'll go with your mouth. I know you don't feel like you can do it well, but God says, go, and I will go with you. He says, this is not about your trusting you. This is about your trusting me. You don't know how much fear and trepidation that I approach the things of God, because I know who I am, but I know who he is. My confidence is not in my ability to articulate. My confidence is in the God who sent me. It is not in the strength of my word. It is in the power of his word. He is upholding all things. Hebrews chapter 1 and verse 3, by the word of his power. And when God gives me a word, I have confidence, confideo. I go with the confidence, the faith that this word came from God. If this was just my word that I concocted out of my own mind, I'd be so unsure of myself.
Thank you for watching Power for Living with Bishop Dale C. Bronner. Join us again next time for Power for Living, where revelation is power. Power for living.